Hello. My documentary about my hometown received a lot of views. I was happy to see that. Thank you for watching it if you did. I did not set out to create a YouTube channel and be a YouTuber, really. My number one thing was to interview the greatest generation. I wish I could have done that years ago. I at least was able to interview a couple people from the World War II generation relatively recently. I'm grateful for that. I also saw all the destruction around me in my hometown. I was a witness to that. I had to capture that, to put a camera on this destruction to my hometown and to neighboring towns I saw. I had to do that, and I did. There is also my earlier videos while having technical issues as I was learning are close to my heart. So I did all these things now, they're completed. So while I would like to interview more of the greatest generation and have a more complete picture with some things there, I really did do what I set out to do in terms of interviewing at least a couple people from that generation, had those earlier videos, and was a witness to what happened to my hometown, and I could show that. Now, from there, I have this channel. If I want to build and have a channel with consistent uploads, and maybe it's a way to financially help me, as well as have a good message, logically, it makes sense to do more of what I did for my documentary. That received a lot of views, so do more of that. A couple people even mentioned that in the comments, I think, to go to other towns and cities. So I could go to other towns and cities and capture how they've changed too, and do a lot of in-person interviews, which I like doing, and to put out a message that isn't in the media much. I know things are getting out there a bit more now online, but to have those on-the-ground personal stories of how these imposed changes are affecting people is good to have. The documentary took me a long time to do. It was filming over time, more than a year as I lived in Canada, and over a couple months of intense editing. I can get faster. If I were to do filming over a few days and all the files were in one spot, it'd probably be easier. And future similar videos may not be as thorough, though I hope still good, and might be 20 minutes long instead of an hour. The problem is, and I'll say this, I'm not in Canada anymore again, so I can't do that at the moment. If I were in Canada and able to, it'd be great to do more in-person interviewing. Again, besides filming more of the greatest generation and things around that, I accomplished what I set out to do for the most part. I completed what I set out to do. But again, having a channel with consistent uploads would also be nice, so I could still do that if I were in Canada. If I were in Canada, I would interview more people. I could do that. I just don't know how practical that is at the moment. To go all the way back to Canada for this reason, to do interviews and make more videos in other towns, it's extremely expensive, right? I don't have the best personal circumstances in some ways. I'd be paying for rent, and as I'm traveling to different places, I'm paying for different places to stay. It'd be thousands a month just to be in Canada, not moving around. And then if you're moving around, it's even more. And then to throw myself back into the misery of being in Canada, and that's what it is. It's sad to say that. And there's good there, of course, and connections, of course, and all that. But there is misery there. It's one thing if you own your own home and you have a great paying job in Canada with stability or a huge family support system. But if you don't have all that if you don't have that stuff, it's not so pleasant. So, and I would do that. I'd throw myself into that misery to record more of what's going on. And if I was in Canada again, surely I'd film. But I'm not there. Financially, it's not so practical at the moment. But who knows down the road. So I may be back in Canada very soon, or maybe later. I haven't quite figured that out yet. In the meantime, I thought about online interviews, things I can do while outside of Canada. So online interviews with people I thought about, or posting other things, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll post different things or change what this channel is about at some point. Or the channel may sit as sort of inactive to some extent for a while. I'm really not sure what the next thing is here, but I did those earlier videos, met with a couple people from the World War II generation, made my documentary of my hometown, and that's sort of where it is right now. Thank you for listening to this, and thank you for liking, commenting, sharing videos, and for watching.